Welcome, everybody, to our Level Up Town Hall. And I am so excited about being here. Listen, I learned so much from Dawn Medley about FSC First. I can't wait to share all of this information with everyone who's listening and watching and following on our Facebook pages, our websites, and of course, our YouTube channel. For those of you who are here, welcome, welcome, welcome. We want you to share and like and tell everybody we're on today. We're going to find out a lot of great information, especially if you're a small business owner. I didn't know about this, and I am a small business owner. But when I tell you, I learned a wealth of information, and I believe we're going to also learn a wealth of information tonight. So welcome to our Level Up Town Hall. Elevate your skills, escalate your business. We're going to be talking about the Level Up program from FSC First. And we'll jump right in with our guest. So our first guest is Dawn Medley. She is the president and CEO of FSC First. Hi, Dawn. Great to put a face to your voice.
Hi, Cheryl. It's so good to be with you again.
Thank you. It's great. We did our community affairs show with Dawn a week ago, I guess, by now, and it was such great information. So I can't wait to share. We also have with us Steward Smith. He is the vice president of business development at FSC First. Hi, Steward Smith. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. This is a great opportunity to talk to the market and the community about what we do to give them nuggets for future success. Glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. Glad to have you. Also, we have Reverend Dr. Tyrone P Jones IV. How are you, Pastor Jones?
I'm doing well, Cheryl. Thank you for having me and being a part of this town hall. First Baptist Guilford is excited about FSC First coming to do the showcase next week.
Yes.
So we're excited about that.
I did the commercial for you guys, and I was like, yeah, they're going to Columbia. Okay. I like it. Okay, so we'll talk more about that as we get deeper into our conversation. We also have Angela and Richard Fry, owners of That Jerk. Okay, I've been to That Jerk.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how are you? Glad to be here. We got an opportunity to talk a little bit about FSC and what they've done for us and how we're moving and growing our brand.
I love it. So I can't wait to jump into this. Oh, Dawn, we'll start with you. Can you provide an overview of FSC First and its mission in supporting small and minority-owned businesses?
Absolutely, Cheryl. FSC is 45 years old this year. So since 1978, we've been proudly providing innovative financing solutions to grow established startup and emerging businesses throughout Prince George's County and the state of Maryland. We're passionate advocates for entrepreneurship, and we've built relationships that's helped generate millions of dollars in loan funding for small and underrepresented and underbanked businesses. We've added hundreds of jobs to these programs, which build communities and build households and support thousands more. And many of our offerings, Cheryl, are focused on uplifting minority-owned businesses and helping to ensure equal access to financing opportunities. FSC is also a Certified Development Company, or CDC. Simply stated, that makes us have the ability to provide U.S. Small Business Administration-backed loans as an SBA lender. And we're also a Certified Development Financial Institution, or a CDFI. We've gotten that designation from the U.S. Treasury. We do so many things. We're also a fund manager for 3 state-funded programs and an administrator for the county's $50 million Economic Development Incentive Fund. So we do a few things, Cheryl.
Yeah. So you're kind of a bank for small businesses in Prince George's County, right? And when we talked about it on the Community Affairs show, I knew nothing about this. So talk about in layman's term what you're a financial institute in the county, right?
We are, and we're really a non-bank bank, if
Got
so to
it.
speak. We're not the traditional lender. Not that we're not going to ask you for, a little paper. We're going to do that. But how we look at the paper is very different than how a bank looks at the paper. FSC First loans were more flexible needs of a small business and minority-owned business and all the challenges that they face that sometimes traditional banks and their credit policies just don't permit. Sometimes banks exclude entire industries just because of the industry that they're in, or they, exclude issues that, if it's on the credit report, that's it. There's no getting past that. We don't do that. We have a personal touch that distinguishes us from, your typical traditional lender. And that enables us to tell and understand the story of the borrower. In addition, even once the funding happens, we stay in touch. We assist them with our pre-loan services and our post-loan services that help us evaluate what they really represent and what they're really trying to do. Trying to just find ways to be innovative, to be creative, and to find a way to yes to that loan.
I like it.
We have to, we'll, like we do with that jerk, we'll eat there every day if we have to.
Let me just say, Dawn's not lying about that. Everybody, when she comes into the store, they know what she wants. So by the time she gets to the door and the counter and the register, they already say, "Here's your order, Miss Medley." They already know what's going on. And I know, Cheryl, I know you're going to ask us questions and things like that, but I just want to jump in and what Dawn had just said about FSC. She's so right. It's like you look at banks and, especially for minorities, they have these 5 C's. And if you don't fit inside that 5C box, then that's it. Your dreams are shattered. You're not going to be able to get the loan from them. And, Dawn kept, this true story, Dawn kept coming into the store and she would see me in there every now and then. She was there apparently every day because I'm never in my stores. Rich was never there. And every time I went in that store, I saw Dawn. So she was apparently there for quite some time. And every time I would see her, she's like, "Did you apply? Did you apply? Did you apply?" And I'm thinking, well, no, I guess I should probably apply, but we have some things going on and we've not been able to secure it in the past. And she's like, "I didn't ask you that. Did you apply?" So we finally applied, and the process was it was crazy. Like she's talking about she gonna ask y'all for a little bit of paper. No, she gonna ask you for a lot of paper. So one of the things I want to tell y'all is don't take Dawn's kindness here, this little thing to say, "Oh, she's so sweet, she's just gonna pass me through." No, when you come to FSC, make sure that you're prepared. Make sure you have your financials situated. Make sure you're ready to have the conversation. You're coming to the table prepared to give them a reason to basically say yes. So Dawn, again, Richard and I want to say thank you to you, Steward, Dipti, all of you guys. I mean, you guys were just wonderful in assisting us with our growth. So thank you.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Because one of the things I did learn, Dawn, when we talked on a community fair show, is that if you're not ready to obtain a loan, if you're not ready for financing or anything from your small business, that you have the Level Up program that kind of helps you and walk you through the process. And we're going to be talking about some of that tonight. So I'm going to jump to Vice President Steward and ask, first, what are some of the objectives and strategies that you focus on in supporting small and minority businesses at FSC First?
Well, that's a very good question. In my day-to-day job at FSC First, we encounter our market, the public. And the market and our small businesses don't believe and see the reality that small business funding does exist. They've been hearing about so many bad experiences. So what we do at FSC First is we demystify the process. We literally hold hands with applicants, even to the point of helping them with their application. So we talk with people about the how-tos to access capital. We provide accessibility and support. Most of all, a major strategy is business education. We have a tremendous Level Up program, as you know. So we try to bring the education to business owners that might not know how the process works. Definitely with false information out there, we try to quiet that false information, and we ensure the understanding of accounting for documentation. As Dawn said, the key to getting a yes to your request and getting funding is having the proper paperwork. We make sure that businesses know what they have to provide and tell them where to get it if they don't have it and how to complete documents that are forms that we provide. To help small businesses, we have a great opportunity that we've seized to have the right resources to present those to our partners to make sure that they've got a great accountant, they've got a great insurance agent, they have a great attorney. We make sure those partnerships does exist, and we provide avenues to uh, peers that they can learn from their peers, and they can learn opportunities from their peers. And we speak at a lot of events, so we connect the dots. Someone may be running a business that meets another business, and we show them how they can do business together. But as also both of you said, we educate people on the 5 C's of credit. We look at collateral, we look at capital, character, and capacity. We make sure people understand that as the application process comes to fruition.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And that's the thing is you think that the traditional bank is the only way that you can go. And when you have an idea or vision and you feel like, you know what, I started this small business and it's now growing into a legitimate small business. We don't know where to start. We don't know, what permits to get, what licensings to get, what we need to do to establish ourselves, to even ask for a loan. And so I love that the Level Up program at FSC First is one of those programs that will say, hey, you might not be ready for the loan right now, but here's some things that you can do to get prepared for it. Let's talk about it. I want to jump to Angela and Richard Fry and you talked about the impact that FSC First had on you, but how did you first get started, being a part of or using the services at FSC First?
Well, I'll kind of jump in. I think the initial introduction was, of course, Dawn and Angela. But as we, found out about what they had to offer and how we could apply for it and in that way, and we actually used the VLT loan, which there's just so many different options of things that Dawn and Stu can do for people, and if they get that opportunity to just get in front of them, then they should, because there's different ways of looking at this, and there's also a lot of educational materials to help you get to that place. But we took advantage of the VLT, and it's allowed us to expand our business. We just opened the store in Baltimore County, and we also have one coming on the way in Columbia, Maryland.
So we expect to see you there, Pastor Jones.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Coming to Howard County, so we expect to see you in there, VIP.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's definitely allowed us to continue the brand, the brand, and the growth of our O&Os. And we are also licensed to actually franchise in 6 other states now. So over the course of doing what we're doing, we see growth, and we're looking forward to continuing, hopefully, with FSC and some of those other portions of our scaling of the business.
Wonderful, wonderful. Pastor Jones, I want to ask you the same. I know that you're looking to do a huge workshop symposium at the church in Columbia, but what was your relationship with FSC First? How did you get involved with it? And why is it important for you to share it with your congregation?
Well, I heard about FSC First through one of our disciples that's a part of First Baptist, Beverly Everson Jones. And she relayed to me just what the business is doing and how effective it has been in helping entrepreneurs and small businesses. And a part of the vision of First Baptist is to disseminate information to the larger community. When COVID hit, a lot of businesses didn't know how to navigate or reconfigure themselves to be put in a better position. I think what the symposium is looking to do is offer opportunities to small businesses to kind of pivot so that people in the Jessup, Columbia, North Laurel areas of Howard County can know that there is a company that's willing to kind of help you through and help you as you're starting up. So I believe in access to information, and that's a lot of times what people suffer from. They don't have the access to the right information, or they think because they can't get a loan from a traditional bank that all is lost. Right. But companies like FSC First are helping to show that, listen, even if you can't do it right now, we want to give you the information, the tools that will make you ready to get the loan so that you can strengthen your business. And a strong business in a community like Columbia helps the backbone of the community become stronger.
Got it. Stewart, what are some of the challenges that small and minority-owned businesses face, in obtaining finances? And tell us how FSC First addresses some of those challenges.
Seen the number one challenge, Cheryl, being that the business owners and applicants fail to take ownership of the application process. We'll have a great introductory conversation. We'll provide a lot of knowledge, information, and the how-tos, and they drop the ball. For some reason, they just don't come back to us. We've now expanded our business development team to 3 people now, and we're calling people all of the time, just trying to say, hey, you want access to capital, we provide that. Step up and get your application in. But that lack of ownership and follow-up is probably right up there at the top. When we take that a step further, there's a lack of financial performance records. Business owners simply are not keeping records of how they operate their business. A simple profit and loss statement, a balance sheet, they don't know how to prepare those, and they don't hire people that can help them prepare those records, which is very, very critical. Another bugaboo is the lack of current tax returns. 2022 tax returns were due in April, and people now struggling even with 2021 tax returns. And that is a major component of our underwriting process, to have those documents to validate the performance that they verbally tell us. Weak business plans. Somehow I think people are writing business plans just as an academic exercise, and they don't realize that business plan should be more so for them than us at the institution. That should be their Bible and their roadmap to actually make a successful run as an entrepreneur running their business day to day. So with those weaknesses, we address those by having multiple how to get a yes to your request workshops. We bring people in and we walk through the entire application process from day one through day end, starting with the application line by line with the documentation. So we show them what they've actually got to do to get a successful application submitted. And what we give them will allow us to have less follow-up, because we're always going to be asking for paperwork, as Dawn says, but we want to make sure we get as much of that upfront as we can. And I would be remiss if I did not say the Level Up program is aware of the weaknesses in the marketplace, and they bring tools to the table. Cheryl, when you and Dawn were talking, y'all made me want to tell everybody my favorite line. We are the number one alternative non-bank lender in our marketplace.
Okay. I like it. And I like that Dawn differentiated that this is not, it's a non-bank, but it is a way that you can get resources. It's a way that you can help develop your business. We also talked about this too, Dawn, on the Community Affairs show, where, during the pandemic, even though there were some businesses that were struggling, people were starting up businesses, the micro businesses. They were finding out their gifts and their strengths, and they were building businesses that's now really has developed into, legitimate small businesses, but still have no idea, like you said, Stewart, not keeping your books, not knowing how to get started, not knowing, how to register your LLC and all of those different things, even though you might need the capital. And so I love when we talked about the Level Up program and the things that it had to offer, that it was education, so even if you're not able to obtain a loan, you're going to go to FSC First and you're going to get the information you need so that you can be in position to do that. So let's talk about it, Dawn. How does FSC First collaborative approach with consortium partners contribute to the success of the Level Up program?
Well, the Level Up program provides coaching, so a lot of times one-on-one, mentoring, so someone who's going to kind of be stuck to you as you hit those baby steps in the business process, training and education about the business of doing business. Many business owners are very, very good at their service or their craft, or their, expertise in their business, but it's that back office. It's that back office
Absolutely.
that could trip them up. So, we're a small but mighty team, but we have to pull in partners, to help us deliver this expertise to the public. And so we partner with Bowie Bick, which is the Business Innovation Center. We partner with Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation, the Maryland Black Chamber of Commerce, the City of Mount Rainier, the Financial Empowerment Center at the Prince George's County Community College, Seed Spot, even the College of Southern Maryland, and the Bi-County Business Roundtable. All are subject matter experts in many business verticals, and participants are able to actually interact directly with our powerhouse team of advanced business professionals who are not only experts in certain business industries, but also in their particular business lane, like tax preparation or, accounting services, or an attorney preparing a business plan, understanding the two major components of a financial statement, that P&L or income statement, and also the balance sheet. It really is difficult sometimes for businesses to understand, what do I do first? So we help them depending on where they are. Are they a startup? Are they emerging where they're really starting to create some revenue? Or are they in expansion mode like that jerk, where they're going to need a different level of service? And we're really, really good at meeting businesses where they're at and kind of sliding them into where they need to be. It may be that they need pre-loan services before they actually get money. Right? Because if they don't have those kind of know-hows in place, they may ask for too little, or may ask for just enough to get them in trouble,
right?
Or not enough. So, we kind of meet the businesses where they are.
Wonderful. So if you're viewing on YouTube or Facebook, wherever it is you're viewing, even on our website, let us know that you're there. Put some comments in the comment section. I see the number of people are there. So y'all show some, if you have questions, let us know that you're there. And let us know if this is great information. Thanks, Cassie. Said this is really good information for business owners. Absolutely. So if you have comments or questions, pose your questions, and we'll address them with some of the experts that we have on. Some that have experienced FSC First, some those who are experts at FSC First. So you've got you got a wealth of information right here without even going into the office. Utilize that. So put your questions there. But if this is good for anybody, give us some hearts. So hi, Phyllis Osborne. Great information. Good. Thank you for making yourself known. Thank you so much. Anybody else there, let us know you're there. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to tell everybody, especially for small business owners, what our conversation is tonight. All right. So Reverend Dr. Tyrone P Jones IV. Can you
don't have
share
to say
any
all that.
challenges or obstacles? The whole name, right? That don't mean you're in trouble. When your mom would say that.
Right.
Can you share any challenges or obstacles that businesses in your community face when it comes to, accessing capital and resources, and how Level Up addresses those challenges? Now, we know you're in Columbia, Maryland. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, a lot of people think, when you talk about Howard County, the rose-colored glasses are there.
It's
because
beautiful
of it.
there.
It is a beautiful county. I love it. I love pastoring here, and I also love living here. But there are some underserved communities that are here, and really entrepreneurs and business owners that really lack access to information and access to capital and resources. So I think that, this is why this is so important that we bring it even to Howard County. So like the Guilford, Jessup areas of Columbia, where it's predominantly African-American with African-American owned businesses and the like, can get the information that they need in order to be strengthened as organizations. When you think about it, the church, First Baptist, is trying to build a bridge between the community and also the business sector. And it's really biblical in that in Acts chapter 2 and Acts chapter 4. Don't worry, I'm not going to preach.
It's
But
fine.
but
You're on the right platform.
right. But when you think about it and building the beloved community, In Acts chapter 4, it says that everybody that had what they needed, they had their resources there, and no one was in want or in lack. And so I think that's important that we build that bridge. And just like predecessors in the 50s and 60s would strategize and come together during Bible study to strategize about civil rights movements and the like, we need to do and utilize the same approach to make sure that we're disseminating and strategizing information to build economic power within our communities so our communities can remain strong. Same approach, same model, just a different theme, if you will, of making sure that people have access to information. So this is why this is very important to our community, and why I think it's going to be so effective, this symposium that's coming up on the 28th.
That's awesome. And if there are faith leaders on here, this is a great way for you to connect with FSC First and make sure this information is shared with your congregation and those that are close to your community. So I want to talk to the phrase, to Angela and Richard Frey, owners of Dat Jerk. I'm going to come in so I'll be known too, like Dawn. So y'all will know me and my husband's, because my husband loves some jerk, honey. We can come in there. All right. So share with us some, some of the challenges and obstacles that you face, before receiving support from FSC First.
I think that some of the, Steward mentioned quite a few of them. I was taking notes when he was talking about the lack of ownership and the lack of financial records and everything else. I think that, being in the business, because we've been in the restaurant business for, over 20 something years now. So, we're what they call old school. But there's still stuff that we don't know. And there's still stuff that we're learning every single day. So, we constantly put ourselves out there, and we constantly are learning. And I think, some of the challenges for us as small businesses, before we're able to hit anything and all of the good stuff that Stewart was mentioning and needing, we got to get over the fear. We have to get over the fear first. And we have to get over, thinking that this can't happen for us. We'll never get it. And not really being sure about the concept or the business that we're looking to, venture into. And I think that, it's with Level Up, all of the pieces are there. It's that one side that's saying, let me touch you emotionally, and let me see where you are, and let me help you to get your mind right in order for you to be able to go and move into the next steps to understand what it is that you need to start your business or to grow your business. I think that, a lot of times people expect people to know, and then people are afraid to say that they don't know. So providing a place where they can actually feel comfortable to say, hey, I don't know what an income statement is. I don't know what a profit and loss sheet is. I don't know what a cash flow is. I don't know that I should be using my business plan as my strategy and my Bible, to basically move my business forward, because everything's always evolving when you're a business owner. He's such a perfectionist. Let me tell you something. Every single day he's talking about, oh my God, the oxtails taste like this. Richard, leave them oxtails alone. They good. They good. But, if you're anybody like him, your mind's always going, and you're always trying to think about, how do I get this done right? And what do I do? So being able to settle down and release that fear of being able to say, okay, take the steps that are necessary, and we're going to help you with those steps, is going to be so vital. So what FSC is doing with the Level Up program is excellent. I'm just going to say, anybody that's watching, everybody that's on there, is let the fear go. Understand that there are people that are out here that are really genuinely wanting to help you. I'm sorry, banks are scary, Don and Stewart. I'm just telling you, folks are afraid of y'all. So, let your guard down. Understand that there are resources that are there. Come in and listen, and let them help you to get to the next level. And then reach out. Like Pastor Jones was saying, we're so afraid to talk to one another in our own communities. We're afraid to pick up the phone. People will see us and they will ask us questions. How did you do it? And then when they leave, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys told me all the information. Why do we tell you the information? Because people didn't tell us. And the right thing to do is to, like you said, help lift up that community. We have to work together. We have to build each other instead of thinking up about pulling each other down. We
Yeah.
are a very small community that has so much potential to grow into a major community and a race of businesses that I think that letting that fear go and understanding you're not alone, paying attention and reaching out and being open to growth is what's really going to help a lot of people. And so I know I didn't answer your question, Cheryl, but I'm just saying I had to say it.
Because that did answer. And then the challenges, because it was talking about some of the challenges that you had early on. So you did a great job with that. But fear is the number one thing. And then it's the old adage in our community: don't tell my business. I'm hoarding my business. But honey, you got to share your business to get your business to grow, right? And so, it's also the crab in the barrel mentality. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't want to say that, Cheryl. I'm glad you did.
I'm wanting to share. So it's great that, you're open to share. And I love that Dawn is running y'all down to say, go check out FSC First. And that, Pastor Tyrone is sharing it with his congregation, because that's what it's going to take, right? For us to overcome that fear. It's like, our grandparents kept their, important papers under the mattress.
Or in their purse.
Pull that thing out. You have to share it, and you have to map it out. Like Steward said, you have to make your business plan your Bible, not just writing it for, just to get your thoughts out. No, it has to be a plan, it has to be strategic, and it has to be well known. And and the awesome thing, Dawn, that I love that you've shared about FSC First is that you don't have to do it by yourself, and you don't have to do it stabbing in the dark. Like, there are resources in the county, in the state of Maryland. There are resources in the state of Maryland that will help you, and you can get help through FSC First. So whether or not you're able to get a loan right now, well, the Level Up program is going to help you and position you to the place where you can get a loan to get your business started. So
if I could jump in, Angela, thank you for the great commercial. There's no one there's no one scary at FSC First. And to be honest, that's what differentiates us, that makes us different from the other banks, in that we welcome conversations, we welcome weaknesses, and we turn those weaknesses into strength. You wouldn't imagine the number of people that have come to us and have graduated to big bank servicing. So there's nothing to fear here at all. Let's have those open dialogue and conversations. Leave it all on the table. Don't hide anything. And we promise that we will be the best advocates for the business.
And we understand that some of the terminology can be scary. If you've had, a lender or a bank say, "Oh, we couldn't approve your application because your debt service coverage was below 1.25."
Right.
Like, what?
Exactly.
Right.
What does that mean?
Exactly. What does that mean? And, at FSC, not only will you know what that means, we'll actually show you how to fix it.
That's awesome, Dawn.
Yeah. So we had a question from the audience. Phyllis Osborne had a question. She says, how long does a company need to be in business to use your services? Number one. And number two, she's asking, is it available in Montgomery County?
So I'll go first.
Okay.
You can be in business 30 seconds to use our services, because remember, we have free loan services. So if you're fledgling and you need to know what are the first steps I need to know to even become a business, through a Level Up program, we can show you how you get registered with the state of Maryland. Am I a business that needs a license? How much does it cost to create an LLC? All of those things. And yes, we are a statewide lender. We're available in Montgomery County. We have our VLT program where we can lend throughout the state, as well as our SBA 504 program, which is often, Cheryl, the very first time a business owner who's perhaps been leasing has the ability to own the real estate that they run their business in through our statewide 504 program.
Wow. That's awesome. I learned so much just in the community affairs show. I know Dawn I was taking notes while we were talking, everything. And so, just if you're not getting all the information, that we're doing right here on the town hall, of course, you can always go back and listen to it. But you can also go to the website. Give us the website, Dawn.
FSCFirst.com.
FSCFirst.com. Real easy to do. Start there. Click on the Level Up program, find out what it is you need to do. If you're already an established business and you're watching, and you're looking for, an opportunity to get a loan, call Steward. Like, reach out to Steward. He's a friendly face, he told us, right? So make sure you reach out.
Smile,
Steward. I know, right?
Right, like you said, he's not that
You did
friendly
the
right
thumbs
now,
up.
right? Awesome. All right,
Love
so
it.
Steward, FSC First offers a variety of loan programs, and we heard Dawn talk about different ones, and we even heard, Angela talk about the type that they use. Could you elaborate on how these programs are tailored to meet the unique needs of different types of businesses?
Be glad to do that, Cheryl. As of right now, we have a growing list of loan products that we can offer. In fact, there are more than 10. There could be 12 approaching 15, but we've got the products to ensure that we can provide access to capital. However, when we talk to individuals, we find it somewhat dangerous if they come to us saying, I want product X, Y, and Z. What we like to do is we like to have those deep conversations about how much do you want, why, and when, and then we use our expertise to fit them in the appropriate program. As Dawn says, we have the SBA 504 program if they're looking for real estate, if that comes out in the conversation. If they're looking for working capital to hire staff, buy equipment and inventory, we've got our SBA lending program, we've got VLT, we've got our micro programs, we've got some municipal programs in Bowie and Mount Rainier. So we've got a lot of things to bring to the table. But when we get to know those total needs, we place them in the appropriate product. And our products have very specific markers that we manage. Woman-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses. If there's a need for real estate, it's something that we're really trying to maximize right now is our green energy programs, our CPACE programs, when people are going to be becoming more environmentally friendly. So all of those topics come up in our conversations, and we actually put people in the right product. And on many occasions, Cheryl, we provide access to capital using multiple programs. For example, a brand new program we just launched was the University of Maryland Medical Center program. And we've had several physicians come to us, a healthcare, that we actually tag on to their working capital needs, funds from those programs. So as Dawn said, we try to make sure people have enough money that we don't underlend. We want to make sure that they've got enough money to be successful.
I love it. I love it. So, I wanted to talk to Angela and Richard again with regards to the types of loans that you had to use. Like, how has access to capital from FSC First helped you? You're talking about now franchising your business, but how has it helped you in your goals and your growth? You mentioned a brief, synopsis of it, but specifically what kind of loan? And I love, Steward, how you said don't come in with the idea of what loan you want, because let's tailor a loan that's to you. And if you don't know all the programs that you have to offer, only you can do that based on the conversation that we have. So
Cheryl, let me jump in. I forgot to say this. When we talk about our list
Richard and Angela.
when we talk about all of our products or try to help people through that maze, the most important fact to remember is that we have over $50 million in our toolbox to provide to the small business community. I'm sorry, Richard and Angela, but I would be fired.
The phone is ringing.
I would be fired if I didn't talk about our capacity.
Right. No, I'm about to take his number myself. When he threw that out there, Richard.
When we applied for it, you should have told us that when we applied.
we came in too low. We came in too low. No, I mean, I want to start really quick, and I know Richard wanted to say something about that, but honestly, what I could say it did for us is we knew we were growing. We knew we were going to expand. We knew that it was going to happen. We just didn't meet up with the right financial institution to help us to make that happen until we met with FSC. So now it's a comfort level for us because we know, well, you approved us once and we do what we're supposed to do and our paperwork and everything is in order. We're relieved that we know when we drop, 2, 3, 4, 10 additional locations in the state of Maryland, that FSC has our back. And I think that is one thing from a mental state of mind when you're thinking about, how am I going to grow? How am I going to get there? How, where am I going to get the money from? He's always told me, don't worry about where you're getting the money from. Let's just focus on our plan and let's continue to grow it. And so now I and Richard, we personally feel like, whew, we getting ready to grow this baby. Yeah. They're going to get tired of us. That's all I'm just saying.
So
oh, there's that jerk again.
Oh, man. So they know you by name, right? They know your order already.
So I like it. I'll touch bases a little bit on the usage, because I think for everybody who's listening, we're in the restaurant business, and it doesn't really matter what business you're in. You need capital to grow. That's number one. The things that we've utilized the funding for is in construction. It doesn't matter if you're going into a brand new open, we call vanilla shell. You're going to need a construction portion to be built out. You're going to need equipment. You're going to need all these different things, furniture and fixtures. All of that is part of it. And we've utilized the funds to be able to do that. And that is a big portion of opening a restaurant. So, you're generally talking in the hundreds of thousands to get that accomplished, especially if it's a vanilla shell. So having the ability to know that you have that, especially if you have a good structured plan and your P&Ls or your profit and loss statements, your income statements, all and your balance sheets all look good, it allows a company like FSC to look at you and also say, okay, we see where you're going, what you're trying to do. Here's a good loan that fits you at this current time. You might need something else in the future. You might be like Stu was saying, you may want to be trying to purchase land, property, or something else. So you might need a different part of their program. But what we've been able to do is utilize what we need right now. And I will talk a little bit, jump ahead most probably of a question that may be asked. But as you think about franchising for us, we hope, talking to Dawn and Stu, as they look at us and they see where we're going and they understand our business, right? They understand our business really well, and they understand that it is profitable, it can grow, that franchisees will have an opportunity to look to FSC because, again, for us, we are young in the terms of a franchise.
And I just want to say, too, didn't mean to interrupt Richard, but one thing I wanted to add to that, not only are we young in the franchise development, but we're also in the restaurant category. Nobody lends to the restaurant category. It is like they look at the restaurant like we are the bottom of the barrel, the riskiest possible category that there is ever out there. And, and that was part of my hesitation. I talked to Richard and I kept saying, Don kept coming in here. She kept telling me to apply. It's like, we're never going to get the funding. They're never going to give it to us because we're not McDonald's franchisee. We're not a Chick-fil-A franchisee. We don't have that history. Yeah, we have 2 locations now and we're growing and we've got a really good product and a brand and a concept, but they're never going to give it to us. And it was just like, wow, when we started talking to FSC and Dawn and, and her team, it was like, are you serious? You guys are really going to give us money? It was kind of like one of those things, but the reality kind of hit. But like what Richard's saying, even being young and going to franchising, it gives us that comfort level that when they know the brand. We used to own Wingstop franchises in Santa Clarita, California. And, we were able to get an SBA loan at that time, but we were able to get that off of the back of the banks knowing Wingstop. They had credibility in the marketplace. They were a brand that was familiar. The banks were aware of, their projections and what kind of, profitability they had. But when you're new, it's difficult. But, like Richard was saying, it's the hope that as we continue to grow, because we get a lot of inquiries about franchising, that, we can then say, okay, we have a bank for you. You don't have to worry about explaining who the brand is and who is that jerk. They won't think you're jerks. They just know you coming into something really good. So we can send them to FSC First and say, hey, the portion of understanding what the business is about and what the business growth opportunity is about, they already know that. Now we got to look at you as an individual.
And if they don't have a program for franchisees, I can guarantee you, Stu and Dawn are working on it.
And they do, but she mentioned that in our
Johnson
community
knows
affairs show.
already.
So he did mention that in our community affairs show. So I believe that they do. But you know, the thing that I love, Dawn, is that you've come to you know, to praise and to spirit to advertise, because a lot of people in the state don't know about FSC First. Like I don't feel bad that I didn't know about it until we did our community affairs show. And I think that this word has to get out. And Pastor Jones, I'm glad that you're sharing it with your congregation and in your community, because people need to know that it's there. Steward said you guys have $50 million to lend in the state of Maryland for businesses.
Right.
And for people
That's the
that
floor.
look like
That's the floor, Cheryl.
that's
the floor. There's actually more. That's the floor.
Yeah. So, I mean, for people that look like us, we're afraid to walk in the bank and ask for money. You know what I mean? We go in with our perfect words and our degrees and all of these things, and we're afraid. Like Stewart said, that, I mean, you know, that fear, or like Angela said, that fear kicks in. But now that you know, you can go to a non-traditional bank. You know, a non-bank in the state of Maryland. This is for us in our state that you can utilize. This is information. This is why I'm saying to those who are viewing on all of our platforms, on our YouTube page, our Facebook pages, our websites, share this information. If you know a small business owner, if you know a business owner in Maryland, share this information. I'm going to get to you, Pastor Jones, because I want you to be able to share what you have coming to the church. But before we do that, Dawn, tell us some of the upcoming initiatives and programs that FSC First is planning to launch to further support businesses.
We were just approved as a new state small business credit initiative lender, SSBCI. It's actually SSBCI 2.0. So it's been here before, but this is the first time FSC First has been a lender. And this will give us more capacity to directly assist very small businesses and socially and economically disadvantaged individual business owners.
Wow.
So it's made to marry private capital with state dollars so that, you know, we're kind of bringing the best of the, you know, maybe you're not getting your loan directly from the bank, but we're bringing in their capital anyway. Okay. And adding it to the state dollars so that they go further. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier, Cheryl, is about, you know, all the other resources that we bring to the table besides lending and besides technical assistance, because we are a quasi county agency. We're actually a nonprofit, a quasi county agency, a non-bank lender. And being a CDFI, being a CDC allows us to do so many things, but one of which is we can actually assist businesses with permitting issues, with planning issues, and even how to make your business more environmentally friendly because of all our sister agencies that we work with in the county. Sometimes, you know, you're expanding beyond the walls of this state and you need an out-of-state non-bank lender like we are that can do something outside of Maryland. We can give you a soft landing spot. We know this space. We know the people. We talk to each other. We go to conferences together. So we know who all the other non-bank lenders are in this space. And sometimes we'll partner with them, or sometimes we'll refer, you know, our businesses who would need that outside of state resources. We can be the one-stop shop for all that kind of information. And even once you have a loan with FSC, we do things like we insulate you from unintended errors. Let me give you an example. When Richard mentioned you're doing construction on your project, and we do what's called controlled disbursements. That means you have to submit a request, tell us what you're spending it on. We make sure that it's in line with your budget, that you're not going cost overruns, and that we actually will make sure that the paperwork that the vendor provides you before we release the money with your approval is such that they can't come back and get you later. So we make sure we have all the lien waivers that go with that funding, so that once you've paid them and we are verified that the paperwork is correct, you don't have to worry about having issues with that contractor down the road because of how the money went out the door, and we had the proper paperwork to protect the business. It's all about everything we do at FSC is because we're trying to make sure we help sustain the business, even after the fact. After the fact.
That is so good. And again, as we were talking about the Level Up program, if you're just tuning in on any of our platforms, thank you, Gwen Murphy, for sharing the information. She says she's sharing. I appreciate that. And for those who are watching wherever you are, be sure to share. Don't let this information go by. Dawn has money on the table. You even talked about, for those businesses on our community affairs show, about those businesses that have their business that where the green, the purple line is being built, how it may, you have money on the table as to how you can supplement your business, because that, the construction could be keeping you from progressing. And so you were saying that you were like knocking on people's doors, like, listen, we got money. We've
been on social media. We've been on News Channel 4. We've been everywhere because we have $1 million that the state needs us to get to these business owners along the Purple Line construction corridor. Because the traffic issues, the dug up parking lots, the dust in the air that's damaging equipment, and unforeseen things that they probably couldn't have anticipated was going to happen. But the state is offering, up to $10,000 in grant dollars. And we've made it easy for businesses to apply. It's literally just a handful of questions. Give us a copy of your voided checks. We know where to wire the money, and just provide something to show us that you're an ongoing business concern. Do you have a tax return? We'd even accept the merchant report that comes out of your cash register to show us that you're actually in business, and you have a location. So again, getting the word out so people understand that there's over 460 businesses in that corridor. We've only tapped about 150 of them.
Wow.
So we really need the other 300 or so to come get this money.
Right. Where our radio station is set up in Silver Spring, we're right there where construction is happening. And we see how the businesses are affected by the construction in that area. And so you got money on the table. So I want to ask Pastor, to give the information about what's happening at Guilford, at First Baptist Church of Guilford, so that those that are surrounding the area can come out and be a part and get all of this great information as well.
Thank you, Cheryl. I am just happy that FSC First is coming over to Howard County to present this business symposium. We have been pushing this and announcing this for some time now. And so on June 28th, which is a Wednesday, beginning at 8:30, there's going to be the start of this business symposium expo that's going to take place at First Baptist Church of Guilford, 7504 Oakland Mills Road, Columbia, Maryland. And it will run until 1:30 p.m. The bedrock of the community has been the church for many years. And a lot of times people from the community come to the church, not only for spiritual uplift, but also for resources as well as information. I just find that it is very important that emerging entrepreneurs and businesses come and get the information that they need in order to build themselves up and make themselves stronger businesses in our community. You would be surprised at the number of people who are wanting to start a business but don't know how to go about it, or want to get things going but don't know don't have a clue or the first thing about what it takes in order for it to start. And so this has been a big vision of mine. I want to make sure that First Baptist Church of Guilford is a business incubator where we are helping emerging, developing businesses to come forth from the church and to go out into the community and be the backbone of the community. Small businesses are the backbone of our community, and we have to continue to help them. We've got small businesses all throughout First Baptist Guilford in the Savage Mill area, Candies, Candles, just opened. I prayed a opening blessing for that business just this week. And so there are a lot of businesses within First Baptist and in the surrounding community that I know can benefit. And we want you to come out June 28th, beginning at 8:30 a.m., ending at 1:30 p.m. I believe breakfast is going to be provided as well as lunch, but we need everyone to sign up so that they'll know how many to handle. And we're looking for as many people as possible to come out and to be a part of this.
That's awesome. It's awesome. I've voiced your commercial and I was like, this is really good. And I hope that other faith leaders take on that same role of introducing, because when you have thriving businesses in your congregation, it's going to continue to grow, to build the ministry. And then others will come. And then there you have the souls that you need to minister to on a Sunday basis. So it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. And just like you said, we gathered for civil rights and for other things. And this can be a place where people can get this information as well. As we wind down, I wanted to give both Dawn Steward, all three of you guys, Dawn Steward, and of course the phrase final words about FSC First. Anything that we haven't touched on that you want us to touch on before we close out? We'll start with you, Dawn. We'll go to Stewart, and then we'll give you Richard and Angela an opportunity to talk about that jerk. And we talked about how it benefited you, but any final words you want to have based on FSC First. So we'll start with you, Dawn.
Thank you, Cheryl. I would say feel the fear and apply anyway.
Yeah.
Just do it. We have built a new, even friendlier fintech platform such that the business owner is going to get an immediate response any hour of the night. We've built algorithms such that they can get an immediate response to their application, get a preliminary pre-approval, and then someone will be right back in contact with them. Even if there's an issue with the application, we swoop in immediately and try to, because sometimes you just fat-fingered something. And so we take a look at that on our side of the interface to see if there's something that it maybe just an error that was made, or maybe there was something that was left blank. So even so that you can get an immediate decision on your application request. FSC has been the driving force behind the success of countless entrepreneurs. Every month, we facilitate training, networking, and education, most of which at no cost, all throughout the region. So I would say just to be sure to follow us on social media so that you stay up to date on those opportunities. And we're a friendly lender. So come talk to us even if you're not ready to borrow yet, so that you can be prepared to borrow.
Not to mention the president and CEO and the vice president of business development looks like us.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen.
That's pretty dope. There's a question, Stewart, that you can answer before you jump in. Gwen Murphy is asking, do you help nonprofit veteran groups like VFW? VFW?
Question to that. FSC First does not directly serve the not-for-profit community. However, I have, and the organization has, so many resource partners, in the local banking community that we can make referrals to that specialize in serving the not-for-profit community. So you can approach us with those needs, and we'll be glad to make those introductions.
Right. And just like, Pastor Jones, churches are not-for-profit organizations, but he's using his platform to get this information out to business owners. So this will be a great opportunity for VFW to also connect with FSC First to share this with their, the members of VFW. So
I'd love to have that conversation.
One exception is if the nonprofit has a building and they want to do energy efficiency retrofits, we can lend to a nonprofit for that purpose.
Okay. Good stuff. All right, Stewart, really quick.
At
I took
FSC,
some of your time. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, at FSC First, we can make you a dynamic success story. We hear it all the time. We wouldn't have been able to get here or do this without you. Advocates like the Richard and Angela kind of touched on what we made happen, but we take pride in helping businesses become more profitable and create wealth for the business owners. We like to help businesses grow. We brought new businesses into the state of Maryland that have been in other jurisdictions. We've got a multitude of success stories that we've actually done. And I'll just share one quick one for 10 seconds. We brought a business that was in DC to Upper Marlboro that's going to be knocking the socks off as we complete our financing package to them using stacked products that they wouldn't have been able to make it without us. And when I say multiple products, we use multiple financial sources. And I'm not going to give them a free advertisement now, but they're going to really jump off the page when they finish what we've got them started doing. So again, let FSC First help you become famous.
Awesome. Because we was going to ask you, well, what business is that, Steward? All right, Richard and Angela, talk a little bit about your final words and tell us, anything that you'd like to share with regards to that, Jer.
Yeah, just really quickly, I think a quick thing that happened to me a long time ago. I was told, you go into a bank and be smart. You go in, you ask some questions, you fill out an application, they reject you. Okay, so now you ask that person, why did they reject you? And all of a sudden you've got more information. You go to the second bank, you do this, and you go through till you get to the third bank, and then you finally get a yes. I think with FSC, you eliminate all of that. They've got steps to get you there, and you should listen to what the Level Up program does, how it helps you do that. Lastly, to say about that, Jerk, is it's a really long travel for us and how we're thinking about where we're going. But we are trying to compete with the Chipotles of the world. We want to be the Caribbean Chipotle. Wow. We want to have multiple units. It's always been that way. I actually really quickly talked to a good friend of mine who wants to get into the restaurant business. And today I was just explaining to him, hey, look, I want to ask you, what do you expect to be doing in 5 years? And I think for us, that was a great question and is in our business plan, is like, what were we expecting to be in 5 years? And I think that while COVID hit us and kind of slowed us down a bit, it helped us in the sense of kind of regrouping and saying, okay, let's get back to that 5-year plan and let's see where we are. So now we're beyond that. But again, we needed capital, and FSC was there for us.
That's so good.
Thank you, guys.
Richard, you make me want to get to that before it closes tonight. Like, you make me want to get a jerk platter.
When you all come to Columbia, I will be there.
Absolutely.
We'll be there.
The whole church, right, Pastor?
I'm bringing the whole church.
Pastor, I was just looking at the date, and it's unfortunately a bad date, but I'd love to have been there on the 28th, and just also to be a little bit of a testament for FSC to have your congregation kind of understand, hey, it's worked for us. So time-wise, it looks a little bit. I have an appointment that day, but if there's any way that we can help, we'd love to be there.
Oh, I'm going to get you over. Don't worry about it.
Cater or something, right?
That's right. That's right.
Listen, this has been such great information. To find out more information about FSC First, go to fscfirst.com. It's real easy. fscfirst.com. If you're a startup, go to the Level Up program at fscfirst.com. Check out what they have there. Let them walk you through the process. They've got funding, they've got grants, they've got loans, and it's for us in the state of Maryland. So make sure you're utilizing it. Don't let this money sit on the table. But again, those who are following us and watching us on all of our platforms, make sure you share this information. It will live on our websites at, there it is, for fscfirst.com. It will live on, this conversation will live on our websites, both at praisedc.com and myspiritdc.com. So make sure you go back and check out all the information we've shared. And more so than that, go to fscfirst.com and take advantage of these amazing programs in the state of Maryland. Dawn, Stewart, Pastor Jones, Richard, and Angela, thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. Great, Barbara Hinton. Thank you. Thank you for watching on YouTube. We appreciate you. And everybody who's watching on all of our platforms. Thank you all so very much. This has been great. The Level Up Town Hall has been amazing. We'd love to have you guys back. I'm sure we'll talk again, Dawn, and hopefully you guys will see me at that jerk. And Pastor, I might have to stop by the church and visit as
Come
well.
on, anytime. You're welcome. All of you. You're welcome.
Awesome. All right. That's our Level Up Town Hall tonight. Thank you for joining us on Praise 104.1 and Spirit 1340. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.